guys, it's your girl Ubuhle.benkosiiiii and it's True Crime Tuesday.
My guy pretty like a girl, and he got 5 stories to tell. See both sides like Chanel, see on both sides like Chanel. Swimming like through water, eating like I'm underwater.
Before we get started with today's video, can you kindly please press that like button, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below more true crime cases that you want me to cover. Today's true crime case is going to be about Oscar Pistorius. On February the 14th, 2013 at 3:20, the paramedics received a phone call from Oscar Pistorius that would shake the nation. Happy Women's Month, everyone. It is August. And besides from the COVID-19 pandemic, South Africa is also experiencing its own pandemic. Femicide. It's sad, but it is also our current reality, and I would like to take this moment to condemn every single form of abuse, including gender-based violence. Femicide has been on the rise this year, and I chose this case specifically because it's one of the most high-profile cases and where it essentially started in our country. Oscar Leonard Carl Pistorius was born on the 22nd of November, 1986 in Johannesburg, South Africa. He was born to the parents Henk and Sheila Pistorius. He was the middle child of 3 children, and his family lived in a prominent but very middle-class society. Pistorius' childhood was shaped by tragedy, with his parents divorcing when he was only 6 years old. And this resulted and contributed in a strained relationship that Pistorius had with his father, who was a businessman. When he was 15, his mother passed away from a complication following a hysterectomy. Pistorius' own physical health was marred at birth, with him being born with no fibula in both of his legs, resulting in his parents having to take a difficult decision to have their son's legs amputated below the knee before his first birthday. Within months, Pistorius was successfully walking, and this did not stop him from participating in sports at school such as cricket and rugby. It wasn't until he was 16 and had to find a rehabilitation sport to aid his new knee injury, where he was introduced into track. By January 2004, he competed in his first 100-meter race. 8 months later, wearing a pair of Flex Foot Cheetah lightweight carbon fiber foot, Pistorius captured the gold medal at the 2004 Paralympics in Athens. After his win in Athens? Pistorius went on to compete in races in South Africa with able-bodied athletics, and soon European race organizers were inviting him to their event. However, the runner's artificial legs became a source of controversy in 2007, where the International Association of Athletic Foundations banned Pistorius from running races with able-bodied athletes as they thought it would give him an unfair advantage. Pistorius appealed his ruling, and it was overruled in the Court of Arbitration in May of 2008. Due to the controversy following his legs, he had missed the deadline for the 2008 Summer Olympics. Coffee break. But this did not stop the fastest man with no legs from training for the 2012 Summer Olympics, which would be held in London. In spring of 2012, Oscar Pistorius finally realized his dream, which was to run and win a gold medal in the 400-meter race in the London Olympic Games. While he was eventually eliminated in the semi-final, he had made record of being the first amputee athlete to compete in track events in the Olympics. And to mark the occasion, Oscar Pistorius flew out his then 89-year-old grandmother to watch him. According to Oscar Pistorius, him and Reeva met through a mutual friend on the 4th of November 2012. This mutual friend, Justin DeVeris, invited them both to a lunch, and that's when they hit it off. That night, coincidentally, was the SA Sports Awards, and Pistorius told their mutual friend DeVeris that he had forgotten that he had RSVP'd with a partner, and he actually didn't have one. So DeVeris suggested Steenkamp. And even though Oscar had a girlfriend, and she had later alleged that Oscar had cheated on her with Reeva, he went on to ask Reeva. He said that he thought Reeva would not be carefree enough to agree, but Reluctantly, he asked her and she agreed and said that she would be ready in an hour and a half. And from then onwards, it was uphill, or so they thought. Now let's get into the life story of Reeva Steenkamp. Reeva Steenkamp was born in Cape Town to parents Barry Steenkamp and his second wife June, who was born in Blackburn, England. Barry was a horse trainer and these two introduced their baby girl to the world on the 19th of August 1993. Reeva has two older half-siblings from both her parents' respective ex-marriages, which is Adam Steenkamp and Simone Cowburn. The family later moved to Port Elizabeth, where Reeva attended St. Dominic's Prairie School. After school, she studied law at the University of Port Elizabeth, where she graduated with her Bachelor of Laws in 2005. Reeva went on to work as a paralegal and a model, and she applied to the bar in 2011, hoping to be a qualified advocate by the age of 30. Reeva began modeling at 14 years old. She was the finalist of the Weekend Post Faces of the Future competition in 2004 and the Herald Post Elizabeth contest in 2005. She appeared in FHM magazine as a model and cover girl and was the first face of Avon Cosmetics in South Africa. She modeled for jewelry companies like Savannah Diamonds, and she was ranked number 40 in FHM's 100 Most Sexiest Women in the World poll of South Africa and number 45 in 2012. Her style icon was Marc Jacobs, and she was the celebrity face of the Spirit Day anti-bullying campaign in 2012. Steenkamp once also worked as a live roaming television presenter for fashion TV in South Africa. She starred in TV adverts of products like Toyota Land Cruiser, Clover the One, Reds, and Aldo Pinpop. She also featured as a celebrity contestant in BBC's lifestyle show Baking Made Easy in 2012. At the time of her death, Steenkamp was signed up to appear on season 5 of the reality TV show Tropical Island of Treasures, which was aired 2 days after her death on the 16th of February, with a tribute video to her and the whole episode being dedicated to her. In her personal life, Reeva Steenkamp was a horse rider until she broke her back in her early 20s and had to learn how to walk again through physical therapy. She was a regular A-list celebrity on South Africa's celebrity circuit and a noted socialite in Johannesburg's party scene. Before Oscar Pistorius, Reeva had dated Springbok rugby player Francois Hogard. Reeva and Oscar became an item of November in 2012 and were a popular it couple in South Africa. Reeva constantly referred to him as her boo on her social media and posted pictures of their vacations together. She even went to post a collage of people she had captioned as her favorite people, including the runner. To most people, their relationship was perfect, but later on to find out that were text messages revealing that the couple went through rocky patches. In some messages, she accused him of being overbearing and jealous, while he told her that he could not live without her and that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. Pistorius' relatives said Reeva made Oscar very happy, and they saw firsthand how happy they were together, living their dreams. While Reeva's mother said that Oscar had been harassing her child before she died, recalling an incident where Reeva called her mom saying, quote, "Mommy, Oscar is driving like a maniac." And her mother replied, asking for Oscar to come onto the phone. Reeva handed the phone to Oscar, and Reeva's mother proceeded to tell Oscar that he should slow down or he would have her, or she would have him wiped out. It was said that Oscar slowed down immediately. One of Oscar's ex-girlfriends said that she was sometimes scared of Oscar and had to hide his gun from him sometimes. Reeva's cousin also said Reeva had the opportunity to tell her that she loved Oscar Pistorius, but she never did. And even Oscar agreeing and stating that it really seemed that Oscar was more into Reeva than she was into him. Now, let's get into what Oscar Pistorius said happened on the night of Valentine's Day 2013. Pistorius and Steenkamp went to bed around 10 p.m. and Oscar arranged 2 fans at the doorway to the balcony because their air conditioning was not working. Oscar usually sleeps on the right-hand side of the bed, but because he had sustained a shoulder injury, he slept on the left-hand side of the bed with his things on the right-hand side of the bed. His things being his iPad and his prosthetic legs. He woke up in the early hours of February 14th, 2013, because the room was hot and humid, to a Steenkamp who was already awake. And Steenkamp proceeded to ask him, quote, "You can't sleep, Baba?" Pistorius got up without his prosthetic legs and moved the fans from the balcony doorway to inside the room. He proceeded to walk over to the curtain and close it to block a slim light that was shining through the curtain. And he picked up Steenkamp's jeans from the floor with the intent to cover a small LED light that was coming from an amplifier. Steenkamp's jeans were on the floor, and while Oscar was picking them up, he heard a sound in the bathroom. He said he heard the noise of a window opening. He said he believed that intruder had came into his house, presumably using a ladder through the bathroom window. Still on his stumps, Oscar retrieved his gun from the left-hand side of the bed and then whispered for Reeva to call the police. He moved into the hallway leading to the bathroom with the gun in front of him. Moving down the hallway, he leaned against the wall for stability on his stumps and proceeded to shout at the intruder, whoever it was, to get out of the bathroom and yelled at Steenkamp to call the police. He felt vulnerable on his stumps and then thought he heard the sound of wood opening, thinking it was the door opening and the intruder was about to come into the house. Out of fear, he fired 4 shots in a quick succession towards the bathroom door. His ears were ringing from the gunshots, so he was unable to hear anything. Pistorius retreated back down the hallway into his bedroom, still with the gun pointed in front of him. He hopped on the bed in the dark and felt for Reeva, and she was not there. He thought maybe she was hiding under the bed or behind the curtain, and when he went to go check, she was not there. That was when he suspected that Reeva might have been the person behind the bathroom door. And that's when he said, quote, "Everything change." Pistorius went back to the bathroom door and tried the doorknob, only to find that it was closed. He went back to the bedroom, put his legs on, opened the curtains to the balcony while screaming for God to help him, and he slammed himself into the bathroom door. He then proceeded to grab a cricket bat to puncture a hole into the door where he could reach in, grab the keys, and open for himself. Pistorius found Reeva Steenkamp crumpled on the floor next to the toilet. He sat over her and cried. He ran to the left side of the bed to retrieve his phone and then went back to Reeva Steenkamp. And at 3:19 a.m. he called a neighbor. At 3:20 a.m. he called the emergency services. And at 3:21 a.m. he called the security at his gate. Pistorius picked up Steenkamp and proceeded to bring her downstairs. When the neighbor arrived, Pistorius had his fingers down Reeva's throat and his hand on her stomach to staunch the bleeding and to keep her airways open. Police and paramedics arrived and Pistorius was asked to stay in the kitchen. And a paramedic proceeded to break the news to Pistorius that Reeva Steenkamp had died. Pistorius asked the police if he could wash his bloody hands because the smell of the blood was making him ill. 2 hours later, he then asked the police to take whatever pictures they needed of him because he wanted to get out of his bloody clothing. Pistorius' trial for murder began on the 3rd of March 2014 in the Pretoria High Court. On the 20th of March 2014, the trial proceedings were adjourned until the 30th of June to enable Pistorius to undergo psychiatric evaluation to establish if he could be held criminally responsible for shooting Reeva. Judge Thokozile Masipa agreed to the request of evaluation by prosecutor Gerrie Nel after forensic psychiatrist Meryl Pfister testified for the defense, stating that she had diagnosed Pistorius with generalized anxiety disorder. When the trial resumed, the prosecutor was quoted saying, "Mr. Pistorius did not suffer from any mental illness or defect that would have him rendered not criminally responsible for shooting Miss Steenkamp." The defense closed its case on the 8th of July, and the closing arguments were made on the 7th and the 8th of August. On the 12th of September, Pistorius was found guilty of culpable homicide and one firearm-related charge of reckless endangerment related to him firing a firearm in a restaurant. 21st of October 2014, he received a prison sentence of a maximum of 5 years for culpable homicide and a suspended concurrent prison sentence for the separate reckless endangerment sentence. In June of 2015, Pistorius was recommended for early release as early as August. South African Commissioner of Correctional Services Zak Modise explained the decision by the Case Management Committee at the Kgosi Mampuru II prison in Pretoria where Pistorius was being held. That, quote, under South African law, he is eligible for release under correctional supervision, having served a sixth of his sentence. And after serving approximately 1/6 of his sentence, his release date to house arrest was announced for the 21st of August 2015. The release was based on good behavior and that he was deemed to not be a threat to society. Pistorius was to remain under house arrest and correctional supervision and was expected to perform community services. Regardless of his release, he would only be able to participate in any athletic event once his 5-year sentence was complete. Unfortunately for him, on the 19th of August, South Africa's Justice Minister, Michael Masuta, blocked the release. According to Masuta, the release was premature, and legal experts noted that this could have been from political pressure. And Oscar ended up being released in October of 2015, the 19th to be specific. On the 4th of November 2015, the prosecutors applied to appeal the sentencing of Oscar Pistorius' quote, shockingly light 5-year sentence. Judge Thokozile Masipa ruled on the 10th of December that they could appeal and challenge the premeditated murder, ruling which he was acquitted of, and convicting him of a lesser charge of culpable homicide, but they could not challenge the length of his sentence. The case was set to appeal in front of a 5-person panel in the Supreme Court of Appeals. The prosecutor's date of submission of court documents was set for the 17th of August 2015. The defense's response was set for the 17th of September 2015. The date for the appeal hearing was set for November 2015. The prosecutor's argument rested on Judge Thokozile Masipa's legal application of the legal principle of dolus eventualis, which is whether an accused did foresee the outcome of his actions. It stated that the judge had made an error and concluded that Pistorius had not foreseen that firing 4 shots into a toilet cubicle, which was small, would not injure or kill the person on the other side of the door. By unanimous decision of 5 Supreme Court judges, the court overturned Pistorius' culpable homicide conviction and had changed it to him being responsible for the murder of Reeva Steenkamp. Judge Eric Leach said, although he was anxious, it is inconceivable that a rational person could believe he was entitled to fire at this person with a heavy caliber firearm without firing a warning shot which he said he feared would ricochet and injure him. And according to the judgment, whoever was behind the door was irrelevant in Pistorius' case. Pistorius continued to remain free but under house arrest and was denied his right to appeal. On the 6th of July 2016, Judge Thokozile Masipa sentenced Pistorius to 6 years imprisonment for the murder of Reeva Steenkamp. This meant Pistorius would be eligible for parole in 2019. On the 21st of July 2016, the National Prosecuting Authority confirmed that they would appeal Judge Thokozile Masipa's shockingly lenient 6-year sentence. Eventually, after a long legal process, the Supreme Court of Appeals agreed to hear the state's appeal to extend Pistorius' sentence on the 3rd of November 2017. And the final ruling would be confirmed on the 24th of November 2017. On the 24th of September 2017, South African court increased Pistorius' jail sentence to 13 years and 5 months. Prosecutors had argued that the 6-year term was way too short, and the Supreme Court of Appeals ruled his sentence would be increased to 15 years minus the amount of time that he had already served. His appeal was dismissed, and Pistorius will only be eligible for parole in 2023. Okay, so I personally would like to put forward my own personal opinion and thoughts. This, of course, is not a fact, as they've already ruled and did the whole legal thing. Personally, I think what happened that night was, because why was the door locked? Anyway, that's not my business. Personally, I think that day Reeva and Oscar were fighting, because I read somewhere that the neighbors had heard the sound of arguing that, like, in the early hours of the morning. I think Reeva was scared of Pistorius, ran to the bathroom and locked the bathroom. Pistorius, in a fit of rage, shot at the door. You see? Yeah. And killed Reeva. Then he obviously felt bad because dude cried throughout the entire trial. And this judge told Zile, like, ma'am, 5-6 years for killing someone's child. Anyway, I'm glad that the sentence was increased, and oh boy, we'll be spending a bit more time in jail. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. And please don't forget to share this video so everyone can have fun on True Crime Tuesday. See you next week. Bye.